everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Katie. So this week I decided to tackle something in our home that's kind of been a little bit neglected the past couple of months. So we have a working fireplace in our family room, and it's something that we really enjoy throughout the colder months. It's just so nice to have a nice crackling fire. And of course we have a mantle above the fireplace. It's one of the features that I really loved about the home when we first saw it. The mantle that was there when we moved in was not in good shape. It was basically falling down. It just wasn't our style either. So we replaced it with a sort of rustic looking wood mantle, and I absolutely love it, especially during the winter holidays. I'll decorate it with garlands and berries and taper candles, and it's just really festive. But it hasn't been that really nice statement area that I would love for it to be, because I think a mantle really can be that. It's the center of the room, and I think you can do a lot of really great things with it. So I decided this week to kind of take that on. I've always wanted a nice big mirror on the mantle, and you've probably seen the Anthropologie Primrose mirror. It's been selling out for the past couple of years. People just love it, and it's a French-inspired antique looking mirror. It has really pretty details on the edges, and it comes in a few different color options. The smallest size is $600. Now, I am all for investing in quality pieces for my home, but especially when it's something that's more of a trendy piece that I'm not sure if it's going to even be in style in a few years. I'm not spending $600 on a mirror, I'm just being honest. So I've seen a few people do different versions of DIYs on this particular mirror, but I did decide to put my own twist on it because honestly, the original mirror wasn't exactly my home style anyway. So what I did was borrow certain elements of the original mirror and then just made it work for me. I purchased this mirror at Home Depot for about $50, and I will link it in the description box for you guys. It's made to look like metal, but in person it really doesn't. It's not terrible, it just looks kind of cheap. It's plasticky, so we are gonna fix that. I ordered a couple of different ornamental wood onlays from Amazon, and I picked out one piece for the top of the mirror and one for each corner. I started by laying the pieces out on the mirror just to make sure I liked the look. The sizing was perfect, so if you do order something like this online, make sure to take a look at the dimensions so you know that they will work for your mirror. My mirror has a thick frame, which is different than the Anthropologie mirror, but I actually liked this because it gives me more space to easily add these onlays. I added some glue to each piece. I had some wood glue on hand, but you could also use Gorilla Glue or E6000 as well. I gave it a pretty generous coating and placed it back down on the mirror. After placing each piece down, I carefully put a clamp over it to keep it in place while it dries. This is going to help create a nice, secure bond. Be careful not to make the clamps too tight because you don't want to crack the wood, but definitely don't skip this step. I was already getting so excited during this step because I could tell it was going to instantly elevate the look of the mirror and make it look a lot more expensive than it was. For the top piece, I measured the width and marked the center point so I would know how to line up the piece and center it perfectly. After you've clamped all of the pieces down, you might notice some glue seeping out from underneath, and if that happens, just take a wet cloth and wipe up as much of the excess as you can. Most glues will dry clear, so it's not the biggest deal if this happens, just keep an eye out for it. I let this dry overnight, and in the morning it was looking great, so it was time to start painting. To prep for this next step, I lightly sanded the mirror frame. Scuffing the surface like this makes it easier for the paint to adhere rather than having a smooth, shiny surface. I also added some pieces of cardstock to the mirror because I was determined not to get any paint on the actual mirror. I tried to slide the paper under the frame as much as possible. Then I grabbed a roll of painter's tape and lined the edges for an extra layer of protection. Again, I would not skip this step. There is nothing worse than finishing a project and realizing that paint or stain has leaked onto an area where it's not supposed to be. I debated on how exactly I wanted to paint this and what color it should be, and I finally landed on this Rust-Oleum metallic paint in oil rubbed bronze. I knew it would end up being pretty dark, almost black, but not quite. This is perfect for our space and will go really well with the rest of our decor. I used a paintbrush to apply the paint, and it already gave great coverage on the first coat. I think sanding the frame first made a huge difference in this. For the wood pieces, I coated my paintbrush even more, because the wood soaks in the paint, and there are also a lot of little nooks and crannies that need to be filled in. So using more paint here was necessary. I had started by brushing the paint on, but I actually found that treating this more like a sponge brush and dabbing the paint on was a much better technique. It helped to create uniformity, lessen the brush strokes, and fill in all of the empty spaces. I made sure not to forget about the edges, both outer and inner, and all in all, I really only had to do one coat of paint. It's really dark and fairly thick, so there wasn't much of a need to do any touch-ups. This definitely does have a very strong odor though, so heads up on that. I wore a mask the entire time. Probably should have also worn gloves, but the mask is definitely key. I was loving how the paint really did look like bronze, especially on the wood pieces, where some of the harsher edges were still slightly showing through. They looked like actual metal, which was exactly what I was going for. The next day it was fully dried, and I went back in with some sandpaper and lightly sanded random areas to give it more of an antique appearance. Don't go too crazy here, just a light sand in a few spots will do the trick. Now for the fun but also frustrating process of styling. I always end up bringing out all of my decor from around the house. I had vases, books, florals, candlesticks, you name it. And I spent a bunch of time playing around with the style and stepping back and taking a look. Let's talk a little bit about the basics of styling a mantle. So having a larger focal piece like a mirror is a great starting point, and then you can decorate around it. Realistically, because I have lower ceilings, I probably could have gone with more of a horizontal focal piece, like a rectangular mirror or an art piece, but I really wanted a tall mirror, so sometimes you just gotta break the rules. I personally love the layering look, so I grabbed this pretty drawing that came from my grandparents' home. On the side of the mirror, I added a tall vase with long-stemmed florals. This felt perfect for spring, and I do like to change out my decor for the seasons. For example, in the fall, I might go for some more earthy toned dried stems and florals. Also, giving height to the surrounding pieces is important to offset the height of the mirror. You don't wanna have a huge mirror and then all these tiny little decor pieces scattered around it. It's just gonna feel off. So if you have some taller pieces on the sides, it's really gonna help things feel more balanced. I also added 2 candlesticks next to the vase. Grouping things in odd numbers like this always looks really nice. On the left side, I added another unique candle holder and a small vase that I thrifted. I love the earthy stoneware look of this, and I think it goes really well with the general color scheme here. Just for fun, I put together a couple of other looks while I was playing around with the styling. I thought I would share them with you to show you some other ways that you can style a mirror like this, and honestly, I just like creating different looks because it's fun for me. Okay, let me know in the comments down below which one of these styling options you liked the best. I'll show you a quick little recap here and let me know if look 1, 2, or 3 was your favorite. I can't wait to hear your thoughts and which one you would choose. I'm so happy because I finally have a mantle that I love to look at. It finally feels finished after having a couple of months where it didn't really have too much going on, and this mirror project was such a good motivator for me to get this whole thing done. I also really like that because I started with a cheaper mirror, it's very lightweight, so I don't have to worry about leaning it on the mantle like this and thinking it might be too heavy. I also think that creating this mirror for about $80 as opposed to $600 was really good because I'm able to have a trendy looking piece in my home without breaking the bank. And this is also just a really good way to test out a piece in your home. If you're looking to make a big investment on more of a trend piece, you might want to DIY it first if you can, to just see if you like it before you spend a ton of money on something. I hope you enjoyed watching this process, and if you do try this DIY out, or really any of my DIYs, make sure you tag me on Instagram. It's just my name, @KatieBookser, and I would love to have you follow me over there. Make sure you are subscribed to my channel so you don't miss out on any of my new videos. If you hit the little bell notification, you'll get notified as soon as I upload a new one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon.